Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominic Dougherty and Drew Fasy.
And you got it right. And we are your local guys.
For those of you watching on YouTube, you might notice a little bit different backgrounds here and some different watermarks and whatnot. We're going through a bit of a platform shift right now, so bear with us. We don't have our normal branding and whatnot. We are still the same local guys with poor senses of humor and bad jokes. So, hope you enjoy and thanks for tuning in. Anyway, today, Drew, we're talking about throwing shade. Social media has been abuzz with talks of the canopies being placed on the beaches here in Ocean City. This summer in particular, we haven't dredged, and the beaches took a beating this winter. So they're very small in certain areas, and it seems that the canopies that people are bringing down to the beach are getting larger and larger and larger. Uh, you know, Oftentimes they're being set up at 4:30 a.m. and they're left there until approximately 2 in the afternoon when the family finally comes down to the beach. Obviously that's an exaggeration, people. It's more like 8, 9 o'clock. That's not really an exaggeration that some of these canopies are being set up to stake your claim on the beach. Sometimes they're two canopies pushed together. Sometimes the canopies are ginormous and they have these big strings that come out on the side with bags that are full of sand to hold it down. Regardless, it's become an issue, and
And
people
as
are not.
close to the water as they can get them.
Yes, and
Without being
it's
washed
become an
away.
issue, and people are not happy about it. But what
I
really?
remember, Dom, my wife and I went to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. And our first day there, we had breakfast and we were tooling around, checking the place out. We get down to the pool and there's not a seat to be had. Um, every chair was filled, not necessarily with a person, but with a towel that had been placed there at 7 a.m. So we soon realized that if you want to get a spot at the pool, you got to get there and stake your claim, and that's what's happening on the Ocean City beaches. Is that people are coming down, as you say, they're setting up their 10 by 20 canopies, and they're putting them in prime location near the water, and then they're going back home and having breakfast and going for their bike ride and whatever until they come back down at the beach at 11 or 12 and they're all set up.
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy. The pool, the the towel on the pool chair. Unfortunately, this isn't a pool. This is a beach, and I don't know if those same rules apply. Apparently, they do because um, you know, despite the backlash from the public, it doesn't seem like much is really happening to prevent this. Um, so, is it one
Yeah,
of
and
those
so
situations where you join the masses and get up and set up your canopy, or do you try and raise a little stink here?
so you have rules and you have laws, right?
Yeah,
You have etiquette and you have the rule of law. So this has been becoming a problem for a couple of years now. And last year, I believe it was, the city of Ocean City um, put a new ordinance into play. And what they did was they prohibited tents, that being a tent with sides, and they limited canopies. A canopy would be basically a tent but without sides. They limited them to 10 by 10.
which is pretty
And
big.
yeah, it is big. Um, and umbrellas are allowed, but they can no longer be, they can be no larger than 8 feet in diameter and have to have a single pole. So those are the laws, the ordinance that was put in place.
Have you ever seen a
Uh,
double pole umbrella?
uh,
I'm
well, I
I'm
think they're trying to distinguish an umbrella from any other type of
okay. I see what you're
canopy
saying.
or tent, right?
That's some
Uh,
legalese there.
yeah, an
Okay.
umbrella has a single pole. A tent so nobody can argue about it. A tent or canopy has
You know.
generally 3 or 4 different points hitting the ground, right?
Okay. All right. All right.
So
Now that we got that out of the way,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
everybody should figure know what's going on.
yeah. So does everyone now know what an umbrella is? Anyway, um, so the, but as always, it comes down to enforcement because most people don't know about that law, right? Um, and B, when you're on vacation, generally you're not following the rule of law, right? You have your canopy, and you have a family of fair skinned Irishmen that need to sit in the shade. Man, you're bringing your canopy, right? So it comes down to enforcement.
Or
So
little kids and babies, you need some
yeah, yeah,
shade.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Which
yeah.
could fit under an umbrella. Just saying, but that's a different argument. Um, but the cops, the OCPD doesn't have time to enforce the umbrella laws, right? The tent or canopy laws,
Mm, I don't
and
know, Drew. I think that there's a I was down there surfing with Lucy the other day, and there were two officers riding around on four wheelers, just cruising the beach back and forth. Like they could have stopped and put a little taken down the canopy and put a little sign on there and said, "Hey, this is not acceptable." But that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't want to add to these guys. They got a lot of other stuff going on. I'm sure they're looking for more serious problems than a canopy on the beach at 9 a.m. You
yeah,
know,
and I agree with you. Could they do it? I'm sure those guys on the four wheelers could do it. Um, and then the lifeguards. Is it the lifeguards' job to enforce that? You were
I
a
know in
lifeguard.
I know in other towns lifeguards do it. I think in Ocean City, Maryland, I believe the lifeguards, will shut down your canopy and leave you a ticket. Um, I think I read that somewhere. Someone told me that actually. Um,
That Ocean
would it?
City, Maryland is very strict about it and will issue fines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard that too.
as a lifeguard, would you want a lifeguard having to do that? I don't know. I think that that's a slippery slope for the lifeguard to walk, especially because in Ocean City in particular, I feel the lifeguards are the most. I don't feel. I know the lifeguards are the most public facing uh, entities of the city. More people interact and see and deal with a lifeguard. And I think from a city perspective, you want them to be the good guy. You don't want them to have to get in altercations with people on the beach over things like that. You know, whereas a police officer, they might be more um, have more of an authoritative figure to deal with someone in that situation.
I agree with you, Dom, and I think the lifeguards, from a customer service perspective, uh, the lifeguards are the good guys on the beach, and you want people to listen to them. You don't want them to be
Yeah,
at odds with people. Um,
no, especially if
uh,
they're going to be there all week and oh, who's this guy? What's he telling me I can't do this? Like, the police officer on the four wheeler, he's coming by and then he's gone. You might not
yep,
see him for his shifts might end. He might not be back on the beach for another 5 days. So I think putting that in the hands of lifeguards who are already responsible for so much, I think would be unfair to them. Uh,
yep, I would have to agree with that.
yeah.
So the broader, so it's not just an Ocean City issue, right?
No.
Um, there are 25 other beach communities in New Jersey that do not allow tents and canopies. 25 do not. Um,
Wow.
3 of them are in Cape May County, and that would be Ocean City, North Wildwood, and Cape May.
That do
Um,
or don't?
that do not allow tents or canopies.
So
There's 25 municipalities that do not allow them,
okay.
and most have a similar umbrella restriction. Right, it
I'm
has to
I'm
be 8 or 10 feet
I'm
in
confused.
diameter.
You're saying Ocean City doesn't allow tents or canopies? I thought they have to be within that restriction.
No, they do not allow tents or canopies.
Okay.
Ocean
But there
City tents, prohibits tents and limits canopies with no sides to 10 by 10. You're right. I said that wrong.
yeah.
Um,
That's I just want to
yeah,
get it straight for people here because I got
yeah,
confused there. I don't want anybody to get confused. So just to kind of refresh. Tents,
yeah.
tents, structures that have sides that you could sleep in and like
No,
hang out in
right.
overnight. No go on the beach, right?
No go. And
Canopy,
there,
a
there,
shade. Go ahead, Drew.
yep. A canopy is a just a roof structure, right?
Yes.
Material roof structure with no sides.
10 by 10 max.
10 by 10 max. Well, so there's 25 municipalities that have that same restriction. Their size varies a little bit. Like a few of them only allow an 8-foot umbrella, an 8 by 8 canopy. There's a little bit of variation in that, but it
Hmm.
basically those 25 municipalities are all on the same page. 3 of them being in Cape May County.
So the
Um,
question is anybody enforcing it?
well, it sounds like yes. It sounds like um, there's one municipality. Well, there are 3 municipalities in the state that actually have on the books fines for violations. That would be Asbury Park, which has a $250 fine,
Whoa.
Ocean City, which starts with education, and then a fine of 250 to $1,000. And
Whoa.
anytime you say it starts with education, most times it ends with education, right? They're
Yes.
just trying to, they want to be good stewards. They want to give good customer service to the guests. So they're just trying to educate them that these things are not allowed. Generally speaking, they're not going to give a fine. And then you have Allenhurst, New Jersey, which is just above Asbury Park. And they are apparently fairly aggressive. And they have fines for $500 for the first offense and $1,000 for each subsequent offense.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you think that $30 seasonal beach tag is offensive? Wait until you set up your canopy and you get a $500 ticket, right?
Wow. That's a that's a ticket. Five
Yeah,
hundred
it's
dollars.
five for the first offense. Yeah.
Jeez. That's steep. That is steep. So there are things that can be done. There are uh like you said, things on the books here in Ocean City to prohibit people from setting up these canopies.
Oh, and
It's
Dom, while you're saying that, I actually missed a point of the Ocean City ordinance.
okay.
They encourage anyone who does have a lawful canopy or tent, or not tent or umbrella. They encourage people to set up in the soft sand nearest the dunes. So they're trying to encourage them not to park front and center and block everybody's view.
I don't
So
think it's
that's part of the education.
so. I was doing some research on Saturday down on 16th Street, and there was a family that had two pretty big canopies set up. They were having a graduation party. They were all the way back by the dunes. They had tables and everything set up back there. They weren't bothering anybody. And then there was another couple that I noticed that had one of the giant ones that had like 6 poles in it and had the 4 things coming off of it, and there were 2 people under it. 2 people. And I saw maybe a max of 3 people in there all day. But it's like, dude, are you just doing this to like spread out? And then I saw another group that had a canopy of legit size, the 10 by 10, one of these cool cabanas that are pretty popular. But everyone was sitting around the outside of it. So you had this, 10 by 10 structure, but then you had this circle of people all around it. So they were taking up a massive amount of space. Um, I think it really comes down to beach etiquette and people kind of policing themselves and knowing like, all right, hey, it's crowded here. Everybody wants to be here. These beaches are beautiful. They're clean. The water's nice. The lifeguards are well trained. They're going to keep your kids and your family safe. How can we all just get along without stepping on each other's toes?
Well, and these
You know,
canopies can be a problem, right? If you're a family and you go down to the beach and you set up your stuff, you know, 50 feet or 100 feet back from the water line, and your kids go in the water, and then someone comes down and post up their canopy in front of you. Now you can't see your kids in the water, and that's no good for a lot of parents.
it
We and
also,
we always we encourage and we mock sometimes people who don't keep an eye on their kids, right?
yeah,
We
definitely.
encourage parents to keep an eye on their kids, and we mock them if we don't. And now we're creating a situation where they can't sometimes because of these canopies.
Another situation you're getting into as well too is if there is an emergency on the beach, if there is something critical happening, and first responders, EMS, fire, whoever it may be, need to get down to the water's edge or to the lifeguard stand. A lot of time people are setting up directly behind the lifeguard stand. I know when I was a kid, my mom would always set up, hey, we're right behind the lifeguard stand, we're right behind the lifeguard stand. However, if you're setting up one of these giant canopies back there and someone needs to bring a stretcher or a vehicle through to get somebody off the beach, it's going to be very challenging for them. And those moments are critical when someone's having an emergency. It's another thing to think about. Another thing too is just lifeguards have to stay on the water. They have to move with the tide. So if you set up right behind the lifeguard, odds are they're going to say, "Hey, I need you to move your stuff. Like I got to move my equipment back." Um, I remember having to do that numerous times a day in the downtown areas, especially because people are going to sit up right on top of you, not for their own fault, just because there's really nowhere else to go down there.
Right. And the tide comes in, and you have to move back 15 feet, and people are in your way.
So, I mean, I think it just really boils down to realizing, yeah, you're on vacation. That's great. You're super lucky to be there. There's plenty of room for everybody, though. I've seldom been to a beach. I shouldn't say seldom. I've never been to a beach in Ocean City and been like, I can't find a place to put my stuff.
Right. Right. Totally agree.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. You
Like,
don't have to be front row if you have a canopy.
yeah.
So,
And
beach etiquette. Let's talk about beach etiquette.
yeah, real
Um,
quick here before we wrap up.
yeah, we've talked about it before. So, the do's and don'ts. Leave no trace. Don't bring your lunch down and your cups of soda and whatever, and then just pick up and walk off.
Cups
Take
of
all your trash
soda.
with
Let's be realistic, Drew. They're not bringing cups of soda
you. Don't leave your red solos on the beach.
or your
How's that?
airplane bottle or your airplane bottles. That seems to
Right.
be a new hot thing I've noticed is the airplane bottles. It was pretty. My daughter came in from the water and he's like, "Here, Dad, I found this," and it was a little pink Whitney bottle. I'm like, "Oh, great, that's
It's
awesome." My 10-year
pink
old
with
daughter picking up liquor bottles.
yeah.
Take your trash with you,
Um,
kids. Kids.
Take the trash. Leave
Kids.
no trace.
Yeah.
Just like every national park. Carry in, carry out. Listen to the guards. Listen to the guards. They're there to watch and protect a whole beach filled with people. Stay between the flags. Don't go too far out. Listen to the guards. They're there for you.
But they are
Uh,
not your babysitters. Keep an eye on your kids, as we said before. They are
that's
not your
right.
babysitters. They're there for everyone.
Uh, Noise / music. I don't want to hear. I don't care what kind of music you're listening to. I don't want to hear it.
Even if it's a good Jackson Brown tune, man, come on. Come
I'll play my own Jackson Brown. Thank you very much.
on.
Um, no smoking. Anything. I there's certain things I can tolerate, man, but I hate the smell of cigar smoke. Hate it. You're ruining my day if you're smoking a cigar. No bueno on the beach, let alone the funky stuff, right?
Yeah, they make gummies for that these days. Be smart. There's families
Child
on the beach.
safety.
There's
Child
families on the beach.
safety. Your kids are your kids. Watch them, especially the younger ones. And
Speaking
my
of which,
favorite, Tom,
if you
what's
lose
that?
one, because it happens a lot, go talk to the lifeguards. They'll help you find them. They've never lost one ever, and they
But
never
I
will.
can't get to the lifeguard because they're surrounded by canopies.
You might just have to cut one down.
All right. And my favorite, scavengers. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason ever, no matter what, no matter where or who you're with, or where are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever, feed the seagulls.
This is very true.
That was my
And as we
Michael
learned,
Scott. You're not a big Office fan, or
I
you
was
would have
wondering
caught
where it
on
was
to
going,
that.
but now that you say it, now I remember that one. That is a good one. That is a great show. I could watch that show anytime. No matter how many times you've seen it, you can still watch it again.
It's the truth.
It's so good. You know, he never won an Emmy for that role.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure he never won an Emmy. And I saw it on Peacock the other day. They won 3 Emmys total. Get out of town. I mean, we're even up for an Emmy here. I mean, come on.
Don't jinx us, because I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
A little stitious, that's right. Um, well, everyone, we're at that point. It's July, mid July. It's hot. The beach is your best bet in this area to break that heat. Come down, enjoy the beach, and
In a
have a good time.
responsible way.
Thank you for finishing my sentence there, Drew, because I didn't know what to say and how to put it. In a responsible and respectful way, not just of the beach, but of the people around you. If you need shade for whatever reason that may be, we're not saying don't bring your shade. We're just saying put it in a place where you're not front and center. Be back off the tide line a little bit. Let the people with parents or the people who are just setting up with their chairs or whatever be down there so that they can keep an eye on the little ones. There's nothing wrong with walking back a little bit to your canopy because you want shade, right? Yeah, it's a little hotter back there. The whole point, though, is to have some shade. So, but no, be safe, be respectful, and everyone can have a great time in Ocean City.
I'm having a great time in Ocean City this summer.
I am too, man. It's been a good summer so far. It's been a really good summer.
We had a wet, cold, windy, nasty spring, but now it's even Steven.
It's hot, man. It's hot. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We hope that you heed some words of wisdom from 2 local guys. We should have a native on here about it because they would have told us what the real deal is. But anyway, enjoy it. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next time. This has been the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort.
Peace out.